Kelly Barnes, thank you for coming on today.
No problem at all.
So just generalise for us a little bit. How has it been since the pandemic was announced?
It's been busy. The shops at lunchtime, obviously the other shop's not open till the evening, but we've noticed a hell of a difference in trade at lunchtimes. There seems to be a lot more people out walking, not necessarily lots of people about, but there's definitely more footfall than there is cars, that is for sure.
Okay, and how do you sort of envisage it? Like you say, it's quite busy at the moment, but how do you sort of see it over the coming weeks? Do you think you're going to be closing sites, ramping up delivery? What are your thoughts there?
We are prepared to increase deliveries if we're allowed. So if there is any form of lockdown, we would like to think that the government will still allow deliveries from pubs, takeaways and things like that. Obviously, I mean, we started non-contact delivery on Monday. That came really on the back of seeing a couple of other people. I know Royal Mail started it at the end of last week, but we decided that we were going to start, sort of non-contact delivery, leave it on the doorstep, take 2 meters back, and after we've rung the doorbell, just really making sure that people know that we're taking it seriously.
Do you envisage that these measures will probably end up staying with us? Do you think people's perception of hygiene is going to change?
I hope so. I think I'd like to see perception change in the younger generation. I think what I found with the guys who work for me, who are my daughter's age, fortunately, she is very well educated, and especially at home because of the shop. But they don't seem to realise what's going on around them. I asked one lad to come in today, and the first thing he did was sanitise. And I was like, no, you need to wash your hands first. You've got to kill the germs before you sanitise your hands. And, I'm not afraid to say that we've had to teach, 30-year-old people, 40-year-old people how to wash their hands properly. And you automatically assume that they were doing it anyway. You ask someone to wash their hands, I know the words to happy birthday inside out.
You're not alone in this. One of my customers rang me on, I think it was Monday, and he said he called all his staff in and said, look, I want everyone to show me how you wash your hands. And they were like, oh, we know how to wash our hands. And he goes, straight away, the first person went in all cocky and did it wrong.
Yeah.
And he said something as basic as washing hands. And I've been sort of making jokes of everyone that's saying, oh, don't worry, we wash our hands now. And I was thinking, didn't they wash them before? Well, if they did, they probably weren't doing it right either in some degree, were they?
Oh, no, absolutely. I think, all joking aside, singing happy birthday while you wash your hands is really, really important. I think for me personally, I would say it's a level of ignorance that I've noticed in staff. To the fact that one of them came in this morning and didn't even know the schools had been shut. He's only been left school a year, and I want them, if you can teach them anything, it'll be, not to be ignorant about what's going on in the world.
I think in some ways you can understand that they don't have this common sense because they've never seen it before.
Yeah, I think
Maybe this will give them the kick up the bum they need in that respect.
Oh, I think the thing is that it's our grandparents who went through a world war, so we've heard the stories.
Yeah.
Their grandparents probably haven't. So they don't know the stories. They don't understand what our parents went through. And it's that generational thing, isn't it? Their grandparents have never had to fight, or so that it kind of gets lost in translation of how serious it was.
I think for the younger generation as well, this is an invisible threat. It is no one can see it. There's no German throwing bombs at you or anything. It's very it's happening and people just don't get what's happening to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if the army are out on the street next week, maybe they might start taking some notice. Or when you go to Tesco's, there might be an armed police officer on the door. Maybe then it will sink in. I don't know.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah. So have you seen a split between delivery and click and collect and takeaway at the moment? Any shift there?
Last night was the first night since we opened at the click and collect store that delivery and click and collect were both equal. We normally do 40 deliveries on a weekend, 40 to 45, and a normal weekdays around about 20. Sort of for a normal Wednesday. Last night we did 42 deliveries. And that was what we've seen, is it steadily increased from Monday to last night. And I think tonight we'll see another increase as well.
And just see any drop off on people coming into the takeaway?
Not really, not like I thought I would do. You sort of look at your figures at 7 o'clock, because the one thing that I would say that Tim and I have been doing is we've been trying to stay off rota, and not necessarily away from the business, so that we're the very last line of stepping in. So because my staff still want to get paid, they still want their hours, because if pay is slipping in the next couple of weeks, they want as many hours now as possible. So we've said, look, and we've reassured them that, it's not that we don't want to be at work. We're stepping back so that you guys have got as many hours as possible. So that in the next coming weeks, if you start dropping, which we've had eight people in 2 days drop, not necessarily with symptoms, but their family and everything else with symptoms. So
just to confirm, by drop, you don't mean dead?
No, I don't mean drop. I mean phoning sick. They are not dead.
Yeah, just to confirm, we're being a bit casual about the word drop there. So do you see Selfchanging opening hours, anything like that at the moment? Some reports are saying that, late at night after 9 o'clock, they're not seeing many customers come through.
At present, we haven't. We have discussed it. We've discussed moving delivery from Pines Road to Exeter Road so that we can get more deliveries out quicker and faster because we've got more pans. We've discussed maybe if we get to a stage where staff aren't turning in, that we split the day up. So we do a 12 till 2, then we do a 5 till 9. So there's lots of options, but until we are either pushed to that very limit or we can't do it because we're told we're not allowed, we're going to carry on as normal, keeping nice and calm, keeping the staff informed, the customers informed, and just making sure that the show goes on.
Have you noticed less cash coming in and more card payments?
Not overly, no. Not massively. We have put a post out. I don't think cards have increased any more than they would normally.
Okay. It's always, money's dirty though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wear gloves. So if they're on the till, they wear gloves, and if they go from till to,
you've always done that though, haven't you?
Yeah, for the past 4 years, we've always worn gloves, and then we move from if we move from till to food service, we get rid of our gloves. It's sanitising, then putting a clean pair of gloves on so your hands are extra clean, even in case your glove splits. So all of those sorts of things.
What sort of steps are you guys taking to reduce your risk of, the loss of outgoings, or the loss of incoming, and then obviously to mitigate the outgoing?
To be honest, we've not. It's going to sound really irresponsible. We haven't done masses because we've made phone calls to the bank and the finance company to make sure that we can still afford to pay our lease and things like that. And I don't really see the need to panic in terms of making people redundant or getting rid of people. No. It's about making sure that we're still getting that product out and it's still the best it can be, and ramping up your cleaning in terms of every 20 minutes we have a timer on so the customers can see that we're taking this seriously, and I think that's extremely important.
And have you heard anything from other fish and chip shop owners or anyone else in the business? Anyone else sort of, what are they sort of going through, do you think? Is it different? Is it the same?
I think it's the same everywhere. I think we've had a lot of questions about delivery, how we've done it, how we set up, what do we charge? Even just as much as people who are extremely experienced in the industry to people who are not as experienced. And the answers, we tell them what we're doing. And I think that's the great thing about our industry, is about supporting each other and making sure that actually if someone comes to you with a question, tell them the answer. Everybody needs to support each other at the moment.
Yeah. And obviously, I think we were dealing with that today, weren't we? With James, he was looking at Prio Day, and and I think I sent him an invite to Prio Day, and they got chatting, and I think they've had quite a few leads over the last few days as well. Click and collect. I don't know how fast they can turn that around, though. It'd be interesting to see.
I mean, like I said, Prio Day have been absolutely fantastic for us right from day one. I mean, we made an inquiry about having click and collect installed at Exeter Road, just in case you was still allowed out to collect to take away. and they said they could turn it around for us personally in a couple of days. Now, I don't know whether that's the same for everyone, because obviously we're already an existing customer and all our system is set up. But they do work quickly and they are very, very good at what they do.
So what would you like to see from the government?
I think possibly more talk about utilities and your VAT bill. Your VAT bill's due. You get your bill at the end of April for us, and payable at May. I'd like to just see a little bit more talk about your gas, electric, your water. How's that going to work? Are they going to charge you? Is it put on hold? And your tax bills, really. But I think personally, they're doing a sterling job. I think they're doing the best job that they can possibly do at the time without causing mad panic across the country.
Yeah. So bear in mind, it's tricky times. Do you think fish and chips is doomed, or could there be some upsides after all this?
I think that as long as, first of all, I think a lot of businesses are going to suffer. That's kind of, it's a given that, there's going to be people out there who don't have the facility to deliver and get the product to the customer. However, if we do go into some sort of lockdown and you're allowed to deliver in any way and you can get the food out to customers, even if you're just covering cost, I think you should be doing what you can to support your community, because I think in the long run, because when it is over, and it will be over, that goodwill will be created, and I think that fish and chips will still be there at the forefront, and I still think it will keep on going.
Yeah. I was talking to someone earlier, from David from Pied de Terre, and his will be going after yours. And we were talking about how he thinks that the recession will hit hospitality for a longer period. And I think that after this, you're not going to see people going to posh restaurants. They're going to be saying, like, let's just go fish and chips. Let's keep it simple. It's local. It's on our doorstep. So I think that, it's good to try rally the fish and chip troops and get them pushing out. And hopefully if they can make it through this blip, then we can get to the other side and be quite positive, I think.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that should come out of it, and maybe, we should be seeing more stringent hygiene conditions in food eating places. I think the scores on the doors is great. I think it does the job, but people don't know what it is or why it's there, and who knows? Maybe washing your hands. One of the first things you taught as a doctor is how to wash your hands. Maybe it's something we should teach, that the first thing you do as part of joining a food establishment is how to wash your hands.
Yeah, maybe it's true. Yeah. Well, Kelly, I just want to say thanks for your time, and we will touch base with you again, no doubt.
No problem. Thank you.